What's up everyone, Fritz here again with another episode of Sneakerhead Ambition, and today we are going to be covering restocks. We will cover strategies all the way from manual all the way up to automated. So hopefully this video will just help you have a better setup going into restocks so that hopefully you can hit more frequently. Restocks are obviously a large opportunity for anybody trying to hit shoes online or botting. So we're covering them just A, because it's a good idea to be well versed in this and understand how to capitalize on them. But B, I also feel that we are seeing more restocks than typical, and the size is a little larger than we typically see just because of the supply chain issues that companies have been experiencing over the past year and should continue to see through next year. This is definitely a topic that you want to be up on. I'm going to break this video down into 4 separate subsections that are just going to be based off of what resources you have. So the first one's going to be manual, the second one's going to be quick tasks, the third is just going to be a pre-setup, and the fourth is going to be automation. Each one of these sections and strategies can be deployed just depending on the site that's dropping, the resources you have, and the information available. I have had a good amount of success lately, especially on foot sites with these setups, so that's going to be automation and pre-setup. But these are strategies that I have used with success, every single one of them, so we'll get into those now. All right, so starting off, first we're going to go over how to hit restocks manually if that is the only thing you've got. So if you are unaware, manually basically means that you are manually going to go into the site, put the item in cart, put in your information, and check out. So it would just be a manual input like anything else you order online. It's just you manually inputting your information and trying to check out the item. I will mention several times in this video information that you get from a cook group. So it is extremely helpful to be in a cook group, because if you are in a cook group, they have monitors which are monitoring the sites for a specific product. When that product comes up, you're going to get a link. You can just click the link and it adds to cart. So again, there are several times in this video that I'm going to mention cook groups. I've mentioned joining them in several of my videos. It really is going to help you manually hit as well as hit with bots. And again, this is the reason I suggest that you join them, just because you are going to get faster, more reliable information from these groups than you would if you were just doing research on your own. Now, like with everything, you can speed this up a little bit by getting an auto checkout tool or an autofill tool. So if you're using a Mac, right, they've just got their general autofill, which isn't bad, but I would suggest if you're going to start off trying to get releases manually, to possibly invest in a auto checkout and autofill tool. I use Fatty extensions, so I'll put that in the list below, and I've made my money back 100 times over that. But essentially what those would do, or the autofill would do, would be you would click on the link or you would go to the site, and the second you put that item in cart, it's going to fill in your information and check you out. So it's obviously not a bot, but it is an extension that can vastly improve the speed with which you're able to get that info in, which is obviously a big deal when you're competing against people that have bots and a lot of proxies and resources that they're using to try to hit to. I know it might seem like this isn't the best option, but this really is an outstanding option if you are just trying to get single pairs or don't have a bot first. I strongly recommend that everybody gets in a cook group and does this. By this, I mean trying to hit pairs manually before they buy a bot. If you look at any of my other videos, I again strongly suggest that you don't just buy a bot and then figure it out. I think that there's a lot to be learned from just going after pairs manually. You can learn the site protocols, you can learn the checkout process, and all of that is going to help you when you eventually get the bot. But for now, this really is a good option if you're just trying to hit single pairs, and those autofill, auto checkout tools are going to help you speed that up even more. Next, we have a quick tasks, which is going to be a restock strategy for mostly Shopify restocks. If you haven't heard of quick tasks, basically this is all it is. You are going to link your Shopify bot, so whatever bot you have that works on Shopify and has a Shopify module, you are going to link that to the monitors in your Discord group. So within your group, you would go to one of the monitors for Shopify and you would click on quick task. That would take you somewhere that's going to allow you to link your bot to those monitors. When you click on quick task, then it's going to just start up whatever info you input into your bot for that quick task setting. So essentially, all this is doing is making it very easy for you to see something in your Discord group, hit quick task, your bot starts running. As I just mentioned, you can set up your bots to do a number of things when you hit quick task. So you could set up 1 task, you could set up 2, you can pick what proxies they use. So there is a good amount to do on the back end with your bot to set these up. But once you have that set up, you can just click quick task start, hence quick task. This is yet another instance where I'm going to stress, get in a good cook group. You need those monitors to really hit restocks effectively. You are not going to be able to just be surfing the web and see a restock and hit it. You really do need those monitors within the group to keep you up to date and just click and go. You also need them just because if you are in a good cook group, you might get a couple minute warning that one of these drops is about to happen and have time to set up even more. So, as always, knowledge is power, and again, get in a good cook group. And just a reminder, the quick task section really is for Shopify. This isn't a site where you're going to hit 50 pairs like on foot sites or anything like that, but you will have a good shot if you have that quick task ready to just click and hopefully hit a pair. So hopefully this helps you out. And this may be obvious to most of us, but just remember, your bot does need a Shopify module for you to do this. Not all bots have those, so just make sure you're aware of that when purchasing or renting. And just remember with Shopify, it's likely that you will have to solve a CAPTCHA, so you'll need to be at your computer. You can't just automate these fully. So again, you'll need to be there to start the quick tasks, and you'll likely need to have that CAPTCHA situation set up so that you can solve that quickly and hopefully get a checkout. Next, we are going to cover Presetup, which is the restock strategy that I personally use the most, just due to the bots that I have and the resources available to me. This strategy is mostly going to be for foot sites. This is how I go about trying to hit foot site restocks. So this isn't going to be for Shopify, Supreme, any of that. This is mostly going to be a foot site restock strategy. Maybe I like this because it's effective. Maybe it's because I suck at Shopify. One of the two. To get a pre-setup ready, all you would do is basically fill out all of your tasks, all of your information, and basically just make a Foot Locker restock group. So personally for me, I usually run about 4 different proxy providers. So I'd have Foot Locker Lemon, Foot Locker Sakura, Foot Locker Taru, Foot Locker Proxy Heaven. I would have each one of those set up completely. So I'd have everything in there. I'd have all my payment information, all the correct profiles, everything. The only thing that I really plan on changing within those 4 groups is the SKU. So again, you're going to have everything set up, like all you would do is press start and know that the SKU is not correct. I would then repeat this for Foot Locker, Foot Action, East Bay, Kids Foot Locker, and what's the other one? Champs. So with that, you should have however many proxy groups you're going to run with each, and you should have every one of those set up so that all you've got to do then is go in, change the SKU, hit save and start. I know this might sound relatively obvious to some of you, but I guarantee that some of you do not have this set up, and that when you see a foot site restock, you then go and try to set everything up. I know again that this sounds relatively simple, but if you do this and have everything ready to roll, you can have thousands of tasks started within 10 to 15 seconds. So again, I just leave my bots when I don't have a drop coming up set up like this. They're just sitting on the server. The second I see that ping from my group, save and start, ready to roll. Coming back to this point again, another reason to be in a cook group. If you are in a good cook group, they're going to give you notifications when they see Foot Locker, Foot Action, any of these sites load up products on the back end. That means that if you're in one of these groups, you could even have the SKU in before the product drops and instantly able to hit start once you see it checking out on the checkout feeds. So again, you don't need a cook group, but you kind of do. Speed is everything with these restocks. Obviously, you need good proxies, a good bot, and a decent setup. But I promise you that if you get to a restock on foot sites 5 minutes late, the odds of you hitting are very low. It really is seconds based when you get started. So every second you can save by not having to change the site, not having to upload your profiles, not having to do all of the setup with just SKU change, start. So again, I know it seems like that could be being a little picky, what's the big deal? But anytime that I see these foot site restocks and I'm not at my computer, I rarely even start. But if I am able to see it coming, maybe on the back end, or I just get the notification, if I'm able to start right away, I'm usually going to hit. The only downside to this is that you obviously have to be at your computer to pull this off. This is not something you can do remotely. So just long story short, make sure that you have everything set up so that there are minimal changes needed to be made, hopefully just the SKU. And finally, we are going to go over how to hit restocks with an automation feature. If you haven't heard of this before, or if you have, maybe you've heard of NSB Blue Tasks. Essentially, all this is part of a bot or a feature of a bot. Again, not all bots have this, but it is a feature where you can put in keywords or a SKU, and the bot will monitor, right, the sites for that SKU. If it senses that a site drops that SKU, it will set up and start running automatically to whatever settings you had it programmed to within your bot. This video is being filmed in late September 2021, and as of right now, the 4 bots that have this would be NSB, Zephyr AIO, Prism, and Valor. This is obviously a massive advantage, especially to those of us who can't be at our computer all the time. This is a great feature because you can hit at night while you're asleep, while you're at work, while you're out having a drink, whatever the case may be. This does allow you to automate this so that you don't have to be at your computer. This is the only thing on the list where you could actually just type in information and hit while you are asleep, right? Restocks don't happen at predetermined times all the time, so it would be a good idea to have this set up and ready to roll so that you can capitalize on the restocks that are happening when you're not at your computer. As far as these bots are concerned, this is more of a foot site restock tool. It can work on other things, like if you have NSB and Zephyr, it does work on those. Prism does work on Shopify too. Valor, from what I've heard, is only foot sites, so you do have to weigh those two when considering if you want to get one of these bots based on this feature. What's the quote? With great power comes great responsibility. You do need to make sure when you are putting in information into these bots for this automation feature that you are extremely careful. This is probably one of the biggest areas that scares me, is the fact that I've seen people put in a SKU, maybe a wrong SKU, maybe leave a comma in there that shouldn't be there, and just checks out hundreds of the wrong items. So, while this is a great feature, you really need to be careful when you're plugging in your information, almost more so than anything else. Check with Discord groups, double check your words, double check your SKUs, make sure they are correct, because again, this is awesome, but it can also lead to a disastrous result if you end up checking out 100 pairs of a brick that you really didn't mean to hit. Remember, I know it sometimes seems like these bots are doing magic in the background, but really all they're doing is doing what you told them to do. So, don't tell them to check out a bunch of pair of socks. And again, that setup is something that either the bot Discord or your cook group is going to help you with. So, again, to mitigate your risk, double check these setups with your groups before deploying them. So anyways, just wrapping up, I did want to cover several different strategies since I know we're all in different financial and life situations. All of these strategies can be used no matter what your current situation is, even if you don't have a cook group. But as you may have seen through this video, a common theme is that you really should get in a quality cook group as soon as possible. There are free cook groups that you can find and join. I would definitely suggest doing that. But again, with a lot of things in life, you do get what you pay for. So I would strongly suggest getting in one. Don't view it as an upfront cost, view it as an investment in yourself. And again, that information in that group, if you really do apply yourself, should pay for itself within days, if not a week. I know I did mention this at the start of the video, but I am also doing this video because, like I mentioned, restocks are seeming to become more frequent and have larger stock, right? Certain releases are showing up weeks, months late. So again, I just figured that this is a topic that we should cover because I don't feel that this trend will be ending anytime soon. So long story short of this video, all 4 of those, right, really just take time to prep your setup. Other than manual, all of these other methods are going to require some thought. The more you put into that thought before the drop, the better success you're going to have. Obviously, it doesn't guarantee anything, but again, with these restocks, seconds matter. So if you are prepared and have put thought into this, and then when it happens, all you got to do is press start, you're definitely going to have more success. Anyways, that's all I've got for y'all today. Please feel free, as always, to leave any comments, questions, or strategies that you use in the comments below. Like I usually say, I really do try to respond to all of you, and it means a lot to me that you take time out of your schedule to watch this. So thank you. And other than that, just check back later this week. I should have another video up. And until then, see ya.